inseparable. If your mind fixates or falls or lands, drop, open, rest, and look again and again into the nature of your own mind. A thought arises, look to the source of the thought. A sound arises, look to the source of the sound. Sensation arises, look to the source of that sensation. And if you recognize, just rest, don't do anything at all. Your own mind is Buddha, awake. Already. everything is condensed into this one point of realizing the nature of mind. Confusion evaporates like morning dew in the full light of the sun. If this is grasped, no other antidote or remedy is needed. Knowing one, you realize all. If there's any uncertainty or doubt regarding your mind, look again and again and again. Look and rest, alternating, until the resting and the looking are undifferentiated. This isn't something achieved or attained, just recognized. Doesn't belong to anyone. It isn't going anywhere. Didn't come from anywhere. And every form, every sight, every sound, every sensation, passing clouds through the expanse of the sky. Without collapsing back down, maintaining this open, broad, inclusive perspective. Feel back into the heart. As the meditation, the formal session ends, contact with the heart. Keep contact with this, however contact was made. And let your practice be, whether this cultivating qualities of the heart, any practice, let it be without sessions and breaks. This nature of mind isn't present only when you're sitting in a formal posture. It doesn't disappear when you fall asleep. It doesn't vanish when you're distracted. It doesn't increase or decrease. The nature of distraction, the nature of confusion, isn't other than this. Like staring through the ripples on the surface of a pond, seeing the depths. Open your heart, release your mind. And recognize as best as you can again and again and again. All right. Now, if there are any reports or questions, we can open it up and talk. Now is also a fine time to go to the bathroom and rearrange.
Up, and my attention was always like drawn, but taking into attention, and if allowed to rest there, the tension dissolves, and then I back into awareness, so having this cycle. Well, if I let it go, I'm going to be very destructive. I'm going to adapt to that weird like thing. Yeah. I'm going to annoy everyone. What to do about this?
Yeah, not if you're as the mind opens and releases, not uncommon for local tension to increase. Temporarily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's normal, but it's more like to just let it run through? Do I slip the whole thing, the whole dungeon?
Yeah, you don't have to do anything with it. If it's not going to be disruptive to others, or if you're practicing like this alone, yeah, I mean, also don't, because I don't, if you're having spontaneous motor movements, some people think that's a sign of progress, like progress equals spontaneous motor movements, and then they kind of fixate on that and actually encourage it to continue. So don't do that. But
yeah,
if it's happening,
like it typically happens to me during sits and then it chills down eventually.
yeah, yeah, it's a phase. It'll pass.
I've been noticing for the past couple of days, like, a strong dissociative energy taking me out of presence. And there was a sense during this that, like, it felt like the contraction around, it feels like there's something that, like, I don't, my system does not want to feel. And it's like, I was just noticing that the invitation to open the heart, like, made the contraction want to, like, no. And I guess my take is, I'm like, well, it just doesn't feel safe right now, so that's what it is. It's unpleasant, it's unsatisfactory, but that's my report. I'm like, maybe I'm doing it wrong. Oh well, that's what it is.
No, for very good reasons. We often build up barriers to opening the heart. If we don't feel safe, if we don't feel, yeah, if our nervous system, even if we think, no, let the guy open, come on. If our nervous,
Yeah.
it's not.
I had this innate sense of like, yeah, prying it open is not gonna help, so I just stay with this.
Yeah, if you can hold that kind of contraction and that, if you can hold that within awareness and imbue that with a sense of loving kindness, you know, even if the heart area feels contracted, you can still kind of bring a softness and a warmth to it. That can help, and it may open or it may not. Yeah. Is that somewhat helpful? Thank you for the report.
Yeah.
Even though these lights aren't very bright, like having my eyes be that open was rough.
Like stinging or?
Yeah.
Right. Also, you don't have to remain unblinking. Blinking as much as you want to do is still.
Really helping. It was more
Yeah.
like a light sensitivity, and I was just like, oh, it's interesting. These lights aren't that bright. But
You might want to practice in a lower light environment if you're going to do open eye
normally
meditation.
do.
There, yeah. Sorry.
no, no.
Yeah, it was the first time for me of doing an open eye meditation, and I went into like kind of a blurry eye space, and then suddenly I felt really sleepy. Like I really wanted to go to sleep, and I decided to close my eyes again to kind of re-center and connect again. Because sometimes when you prompted with the question of like observing the outside and the inside, I think maybe I got a little stuck on that. I don't quite understand. Like, yeah, I think let's put that as a question.
That is a sticking point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, what's aware of this space, this room, these sites? Does that know where your body ends and the world begins, or something that's inside versus outside? What if it feels like there's a boundary, what is that actually?
I have no words for that. Do you have words for that?
I mean, there are some traditional terms, but yeah, the words all miss.
Mm-hmm.
Here, what new body somewhere, like where does the knowing of that sound happen?
And for some reason I want to be like, oh, here.
If it feels like it's up there, it bears investigating.
Okay. Yeah.
Without leaning towards the sound, and without where does the actual knowing happen? Keep looking.
Okay. the consciousness.
That's a word.
That's a word. Yeah, exactly. Just maybe I'm really trying to fix it onto something, a belief, or yeah.
You just have keep looking.
Just leave it at that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome to come up as well. You don't have to stay back there. You can pull up a chair if you want.
Oh, I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I came late, but I just wanted to, share some observation I made. It was my first time meditating with my eyes open, and it was interesting when you said I forgot how you said it. The person in the front said what's outside versus inside. How did you phrase that?
I don't remember. I'm not sure what. I said a lot of things. I'm not sure.
Yeah, there was a moment where I felt like when you said that, it felt like a tuning fork for me. And when I connected with the heart, my body felt very light and expansive, kind of like I was dissolving.
Yeah, follow that. Keep going in that direction.
Okay, I promise I'm not on anything.
Me neither.
Okay.
And yet, yeah, it's as awareness drops the kind of latching and contracting to content, it's common for there to be all kinds of reactions. The body can feel light, expansive. You might feel shrinking or growing. Things might become more vivid. The visual field might distort. There might be bliss. All kinds of things might happen. But all of those are temporary. They come and go. But it's not uncommon when the mind begins to open and let go of the grasping for there to be all kinds of odd phenomena. Yeah.
It's a strange sensation too, being able to just see everything. Yeah, that's how it felt.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Side to side, up and down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hi, Wystan.
Hello. What's your name?
Julian.
Julian.
Yeah. So, one thing you guided us through in the meditation was, I think the words you used was opening the aperture of awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And when I do something like that, it feels like something happens. I feel like less inside of myself, and for maybe for a moment it feels like effortless or whatever. And I experienced that while practicing at home with open eyes as well and things. But I noticed that when I continue practicing in that way, I start to get a headache and tension here and here. And although it feels like something happens when I do that, opening the aperture of awareness, and it feels like there's progress in that direction. I don't know. I wonder what your advice would be for if it feels like my mind starts trying to do something, and I don't. I know I shouldn't try to do anything. It should just be effortless. But
Well, if there's effort arising, if there's contraction arising, telling your mind this should be effortless,
yeah,
that doesn't work. But if you notice, when you notice that your mind is clamping or contracting, in the same way that if you were unintentionally grasping your fist into a tight ball, relax and open back up. And if there's some notice as well, like if you're unintentionally you don't need to
yeah,
unnaturally open your eyes or something, or like tense your forehead, or
yeah.
anything like that. So.
Even when I try to gaze with soft eyes and perform I know you can't try to relax. There's no formula for it. Your mind kind of just learns to let go.
You notice when you're not relaxed and you develop the sensitivity. Yeah.
I just find that I can't practice for very long because I have so much tension that builds. It's
might be something postural.
okay.
I can't get a great sense just from this angle. Looks all right.
Or it feels almost like a part of my. It feels like a part of my attention is fighting itself. Part of it wants to go narrow and the part that wants to open up is they're in competition with each other.
Yeah. That might persist for a while. If neuroimaging is happening, there may actually be some conflict at that level that is occurring. Clamping and opening, clamping and opening, clamping and opening. But with more practice and more time, you can be wide open while retaining clarity throughout. Yeah. But hopefully that's helpful. And it wouldn't hurt as well. Just make sure you've got a straight posture. The proper pelvic alignment, lifted through the spine, settled. Slight, especially if you're sitting for a long time, or over many seconds, if your posture is even slightly misaligned, that'll cause shoulder tension, neck tension, which will, be uncomfortable, can cause headaches and.
That's interesting. It's difficult, okay, one thing I can say is during the last part of the meditation, I noticed that firstly there was the feeling that I would see other people moving.
Mm-hmm.
And it was feel surprisingly not different from when I noticed myself moving. But at first I was really distracted because I was so fascinated by it. And now I'm just doing more of the back and forth where I notice something interesting happening. And then various positive things arise from that, and I focus too much on them.
Yeah.
And then, but I don't know. It seems like that's just this is regular practice.
Yeah. In the same thing, like with feelings of likeness or bliss or whatever may be occurring, or interest or fascination, as you're opening and dropping more and more, okay, things are happening in my field of vision, but I'm not going to look and follow them. Same way with anything that's going on.
It's interesting to repeating process of something finally relaxing, and then the mind trying to capture what it was and
Yep.
create it. It's just it's never that.
No. Oh, that felt good. What was that? Yeah. Well, we booked the space for 2 hours, so we can do another short sit and then have another brief space for for questions or conversation, if that would be good. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then, so let's start in, is 5 minutes enough for folks to get up, have a stretch, go to the bathroom if you need?
It doesn't feel like a burning sensation in the hand in particular.
It doesn't really feel like it's in my eyes, but like just in my top of
Good.
my
Self-recognized.
So the mind different from the one thing I have is have you almost like you're so invested to like stop meditating, or like the more I meditated, the more it got intense.
You had that.
Yeah. What did work was to, before I say it, set the intention to remember I have a body. Like I think that something like I researched the tension. I'm like, oh, tension. I was like, you know, like losing the tension, like making myself my tense by losing the tension. Then like it's almost like notice the body,
Like lowering the tension.
Yeah, it's almost like doing a quick voice kind of like to go away, and it's a forced move, and then actually just like I was basically forgetting how to
Double check. I need to double check.
Yeah. Pretty much exactly. Like, it was like an instructive experience. Of I felt like I was being humiliated instead of. Yeah. And I was like, wait, this isn't right. I think part of it is, I've never met guided meditation before. Part of it is I've never done guided meditation before. So when there are like explicit instructions that I'm not setting as intentions, like I don't like I haven't internalized that like if someone says an instruction and you turn into an intention the same way that you normally do, I wasn't holding it deeply enough. Trying to like force myself to do the instruction. Which is like not a problem normally when I'm just sitting down. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was hard for me at first, but I managed. I think it was because when I like started doing yoga, it wasn't learning about it. It was from a long time that I just like, started doing it. So like it felt like I naturally discovered motion in a way that made it less forceful. Felt like really lucky. Nagging you, noting like mistakes, not like noting words. I mean, they are like very short programs. The contrary would be a very strange notion. Considerably better.
Yeah, I know. You talk to us before.
I think it's because of like that physical tension like a very front end class.
Lower leg. Good move.
So there's not gonna be, I was under the impression you were gonna like talk a bit about non-dualism or something, but that isn't really part of this, just that guide.
I could if you want. Talking about it doesn't do much.
right to feel it.
To me it does, the more you hit it from odd directions, the more you can get at it, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Just sitting there thinking the same thing over and over again doesn't usually do anything, so.
No,
Yeah.
sitting and thinking will not do it.
Yeah.
but also listening to someone yap about it.
Well, it depends on the yapping.
I'm happy to try.
I'd be happy to listen, just because I thought that's what's gonna happen doesn't mean that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I have something interesting to say on this. It's like, I guess I really like spending time reading books or listening to yapping doesn't help. And yet I spend a ton of time reading books about multi-transaction and methodology. I can't help it, and it doesn't help, I just can't help it.
Me too. I've spent a lot, hundreds, probably thousands of hours reading and listening to
This
people.
is fun.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
But it doesn't help.
Well, to me, it really helps.
I find it can be motivating and clarifying.
Yeah.
You know, and can cut away what not to look for. But nothing replaces actual practice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, you're talking around something that can't be talked directly about, and so if you talk around it, everybody's different, but, if I hear something that kind of resonates with me, then it'll be another way to remind myself of whatever it is that you can't really talk about. But that's what I want, is reminders, right? So like during the day when we're not in this room or whatever, I can try to maintain. And the more little things I have floating around in there in my head that remind me of it, then the better. So that's why it really does work for me. Yeah. I mean, it's what I'm specifically looking for.
Well, upon request, then I will give a more conventional but mercifully brief lecture. So, the nature of mind, what in later Buddhist tradition is known as Tathagata, usually translated as Buddha nature, this thing that is not a thing that can't be grasped, but is the nature of all sentient beings. The all ground in Dzogchen, it's called kunji, or all ground. It is closer to everyone in this room right now than your own face. You've never been separate from it. It is here right now. It's what's hearing these words. It's what's moving my hand. And there are many ways of explaining and framing and talking about it, talking around it, talking from it, hopefully. And a lot of vocabulary, much of which I've spent time trying to memorize. But got lots of book recommendations. Personally, my main practice and the teachers that I work with are in the Dzogchen tradition, Tibetan Buddhist. And there are helpful kind of preliminary techniques that you can take up, like the brahmaviharas, like more conventional shamatha and vipassana. Taking some object, because most of us, most of the time, are so caught in grasping after this and that that we can't settle, collect, and stabilize the mind with enough clarity to actually see into its nature. So if the recognition isn't accessible, certainly wasn't for me. I got real lucky and had a glimpse that lasted maybe 2 seconds, and then was like, "What was that? I want it again." And it came about because I read something, and immediately I was like, "Okay, if I read it again, will it happen again? Let me find the button to press." That didn't work, and I had little context and no way to get back to that experience. So for me, I had to take the long way of getting, really concentrated, becoming skilled in accessing all of these altered states, jhana, and then doing vipassana. Okay, the text that I was reading at the time, you gotta get extremely laser focused and concentrated and absorbed and go through a sequence of altered states and then take that clear, calm, concentrated, laser-like precise mind and deconstruct the mind and body into fluctuating, vibrating nothing. And then, because you can get into an altered state where the nature of mind and body and self and world, you see through it, like very, very literally. Everything is dissolving and changing and rapidly. There's no thing. You're kind of destructing the object that the mind might land on and grasp. And then in the release, the same thing is recognized, that there's no thing to grasp, and there's the subject, that bifurcation in experience that gives rise to the sense that I'm here, you're there, that this is separate from the mind. And that basic bifurcation can break down. That's the long way, which I had to do. My head was a little too thick to get the direct way. But after a lot of that kind of practice, then I could begin to be like, wait, it's right on the surface, always. It is the surface. Which, the altered states are real good fun, and it's good mind training to do it. And for some people, like me, it was necessary.
Yeah, I feel like, well, is it okay?
Yeah, of course.
I'm new to all this, and I'm just trying to organize it in my head or something, and I'm doing a lot of reading and all that stuff and blah blah blah. I'm trying to stay away from memorizing a lot of Sanskrit words. And all that. I don't really, it's not my thing, but I am trying to, all these different attempts that people make to help other people
Yeah.
do what you're talking about. I see a bunch of different buckets. That bucket you just named, I call that's just the taking drugs bucket. It's like you can not take drugs. Instead you can just, do other stuff, does the same thing, but it's just a shortcut to getting a little glimpse. And I think it helps a lot of people. I mean, but
I also did a lot of drugs.
yeah,
Yeah.
it helps, but
Can,
but
yeah.
it isn't enough. I
No.
mean, it's just a little taste,
Yeah.
and it's kind of,
And they come and go. You can
Kinda
get
cheating, yeah.
you can get extremely concentrated,
yeah,
and it comes and goes.
yeah,
It can be instrumental to realizing what doesn't come and go, but it's only ever instrumental.
yeah. It's good as a negative.
Yeah.
It's good to show you what it isn't.
Yeah. It's like, okay, wow, I've gotten access to all of these amazing temporary states of mind where I'm filled with ecstatic bliss and peace, and then the body disappears, and it's just space, and then consciousness, and then nothing at all, and then kind of the mind isn't even landing or labeling on anything, and even I can enter into the cessation of consciousness. Everything shuts off, lights out, and then things come back. None of that matters if you don't recognize the nature of it. None of it. But, it helps for some.
What's the best drug that helps to look at good nature?
Hmm?
What's the best drug that helps?
The best drug? This is not medical advice, but I think 5-MeO is the least far off. Again, I would not advocate anything.
As in to break through all the way, or like kind of coasting under breakthrough?
Either, both. But again, I'm not advocating anything. And again, if you are dependent for a glimpse on a substance,
Well,
yeah. Just like with the other altered states, right? Getting into, extreme deep jhana.
You
Might
can
help.
not eat and sleep for like 3 days.
Yeah, that'll get you real high.
We're fine.
That'll thin the veil out, yeah. Yeah. But whether you're tired or sleepy or distracted or concentrated the thing to recognize is always here.
I know. I've seen it. It's always there. Always.
Is it here now?
No, and I'm really scared.
What's underneath that?
I think I'm leaving the room right now in my mind.
You're leaving the room?
It's like, I feel like I'm dissociating. I won't delude you anymore. It's really scary, man.
Well,
But thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. You can feel back into the body, you know.
One day. One day I'll see it again.
There's this great quote, Shido Bunan, if folks are familiar with Rinzai Zen, he was Hakuin Zenji, his teacher's teacher, but it's a little less well known than them. He said, "Death is abhorred because it is not known." But when you know death, you realize that it's death of the grasping and the mistaken identity.
Yeah, yeah.
That's freedom.
This time will come.
But yeah, no rush.
Yeah, well, that's a good one, I guess. I'm doing it on 15 April, and maybe then 2 days in I will maybe see it.
Could I ask what you think the direct benefit of doing stuff like jhana practice is for realizing the nature of mind? Because to me it seems kind of like in jhana or whatever, you're like effortfully narrowing your attention on an object, and you're using a fundamentally different kind of attention than what is required to recognize the nature of mind, which is like awareness
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
So it's something that you can't do with attention. So like, why would training your attention help at all?
Using the sky and the clouds metaphor, imagine you just can't see the sky. Someone's like, "Hey, the sky," and you're like, "What? Clouds? What's the sky?" I don't know what you're talking about. And the sky is just always overlaid with a thick layer of clouds. What if you could gather all of those clouds into a, really, and the power of the sun is concentrated into the clouds, and it gets really coherent and clear, and then the light of the sun burns up the clouds, and then gaps begin to appear, and then you can begin to see the sky. Kind of like that.
So you're
But the sky is always there. Yeah.
So you're kind of seeing gaps in your conventional way of like looking, like with like an effortful attention, and then that kind of brings you back to like seeing how everything isn't like so inherently existent or whatever. Everything is like.
Yeah, if you're going through something like the jhanas, like the different elements of our experience, the structure of experience, you're systematically dissolving, so that the hindrances, restlessness, and remorse, sensual desire, grasping after sensory objects, skeptical doubt, sloth and torpor. I always forget one of the 5. Anger, the will.
And would you?
When those drop away, you can enter jhana, and in jhana, the thought goes away or slows down or goes away completely. All of the elements that we usually identify and confuse ourselves with go quiet and then disappear entirely. So that you really clear away the clouds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And would you say there's also like, as you go through the jhanas, for instance, would you also say there's a spectrum of like effortfulness, like it becomes less
Yeah.
and less effortful,
Yeah.
and becomes.
Yeah. You reach a depth of concentration, depending. Also, depending on the teacher you're working with, people have different bars for what counts as jhana. But yeah, less and less effort. Yeah, becomes much more automatic. The deeper the concentration is. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure if you talked about this earlier, but is there a reason why you meditate with your eyes open versus closed?
Yeah, so specifically with nondual practices, if you're recognizing the nature of awareness, it's good right from the get-go to recognize that it's not separate from appearances, from the visual field. Also, for many people, it can be an easy way to kind of enter into a broader view defocusing the gaze and opening up to the expanse of the whole visual field rather than kind of narrowing in focally. We're very visual creatures, so most of us spend a lot of our time looking at one thing and focusing on one thing, and then looking at another and looking at another and looking at another and looking at another. So it's most modern people, it's unusual to just actually open up the gaze to be fully expanded. And then, awareness follows the gaze to be open and expanded. And that is closer, closer to the radical openness and centralistness of the nature of mind. It's a good stepping stone.
Yeah, I noticed for me, feeling a different sense of safety in my body through this meditation, whereas like with my eyes closed, I noticed there's something that feels a little scarier. But,
Yeah, I mean, you're alert to any threats that may be coming in. You're not, maybe, I don't know. And the openness itself may contribute to that sense of safety. There's no safety like the nature of one's own mind.
Yes, I was curious about the practice of traction and exhaustion.
Of traction, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like superficially at least, because unlike, let's say, Shinzen or Zen, the exhaustion people are not the clearest writers, I found. It just sounds like Shikantaza, but is it?
No.
What's the difference?
I mean, also shikantaza is a term that is used differently by different teachers, right? But trekcho proper is, okay, there's recognition of the nature of mind. Like, proper, like, full. And one can drop into that, and then rest in that, and return again and again and again.
Yeah, but the question is how. In Shikantaza, you're trying to do nothing and be there, and
Right.
then you might come to see, right?
Right.
But
Trekcho begins with the fruition. If one doesn't have sufficient confidence and ability to actually enter into direct non-dual recognition of one's mind as Buddha, you're not really doing Trekcho.
also, Trekcho is like once you're there, and then if you notice you're like sliding out, get
Yeah.
back in there, and just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Feels like a lot of times there's this phenomenon of like, at least in my practice, where it's a little hard to explain. It's like recognizing what's going on, and what's going on, there's a story that feels like it's not what's supposed to be happening with, if I truly recognize it. So like, let's say for example, just in this meditation, it's like, there was a recognition quality that I was in touch with, and also just satisfaction, but I'm like, but the Buddha said that when you're enlightened, there's no more dukkha. Or
Yeah.
maybe, so it's like,
You did say that.
yeah, so then I'm like, hey now, yeah, there's something going on here that's like contributing to suffering that maybe I'm not seeing. But there still feels like a quality of recognition that at
Mhm.
least I'm like recognizing that I'm not seeing it, so then I'm recognizing it, so then what's really there to be, so then it's like,
Yeah, this mirror reflection that is happening.
yeah.
The instructions are pointers that may catalyze a shift, but there's no guarantee that anything in particular will occur. And if your experience departs from what you think should be happening, so goes. Like whatever's occurring in your experience in terms of like thoughts and
Yeah.
going on in the body, like your whole life up to this very moment and everything occurring throughout all space and time in one sense is contributing to what the experience is right now. So if it doesn't align with an ideal of what you think, that, yeah, of course it would.
Yeah.
And also, there are degrees of recognition that could be partial, more or less stable. And it is true that as recognition becomes fuller and more stable, continuous, dukkha evaporates like snow in the sun.
And then my other question was like, just around like certain certain teachers who have some degree of recognition but have been like committed some like real bad ethical harm, you
Yeah.
know? Yeah, just like what's your take on that?
What's going on there?
Yeah, what's going on there?
They're not as enlightened as they think they are, or represent themselves to be. Yeah. And honestly, I think there are very few total charlatans, but there are many more people who probably haven't had great mentors or teachers or checks or peers who, like, someone could attain a pretty partial and relatively shallow recognition and even awakening, and kind of get lazy and not have that integrate or percolate through their system through further practice and feedback. And so whatever they've left unresolved in their psychology, that is going to play itself out often negatively and impact others around them.
Mhm. Yeah, like that quote, like wake up, clean up, grow up.
Yeah.
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 It feels like first there's recognition and then there's work to be done.
Yeah, you use that recognition to
Exactly. But then
clean up your mess.
And they're like, oh, recognition, I'm like, yay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't, like, in the limit, it's not different. If one, in my own experience as time has gone on, any deviation or anything, if I'm acting out of some craving and clinging, to that extent, I've kind of wobbled from what is true. So it's not like awakening and ethics are actually two separate domains. It's just you can have a pretty shallow or partial awakening and then not leverage it to deepen it and integrate it with your behavior and your character. Unfortunately, yeah. Which is why I really yeah. Traditional checks and balances exist in like traditional Buddhist pedagogy that unfortunately have not been so observed in the transmission over here often. Yeah.
Yeah. And then my third thing is just like about, it seems that practice is just like, a lot of it's just like just remembering.
That's literally what
That's
mindfulness means. Sati is
Yeah,
memory,
yeah, yeah.
remembering, recollecting, like to recollect, recollecting. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you forget less and less often, and the gaps between forgetting. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that confirms my suspicion.
It's 8 o'clock, which is the official end of the event. I don't immediately have to go anywhere, so if anyone wants to continue chatting, I'm happy for that. But yeah, thank you all so much for coming. I'm glad that Michael invited and we got to spend some time practicing together, and I hope that this was of some benefit to you, and you can take something and work with it, integrate it in your own practice in your life. Thank you all. Closing up at the end, anything needs to be done apart from getting the lights out?
I don't know, what question as well?
What do you mean?
Yes, I'm doing,
Wystan,
what I think we should try to
is
do
this your
is,
first time doing something
it's like,
like
like, like first institution, then ground like this, great. And then like, we pointing up.
It's not like,
Come around here?
Okay, so
no,
it's
I
like,
made that
like,
I'm just
turn back, and
Oh
then
my
it's confident from,
gosh, that's such a.
and hold that. depending on the context, you feel a lot of like
How long
alcohol.
have you been practicing?
Like lecture needs to be like soft.
I'm curious, like out of all, you know how there's like so many different styles of meditation, what drew you to this style?
Well, I kind of shopped around between different motivations. And I was
I think if you went to whole Theravada, you would get
grasping into
try more
ideas
there.
for a while.
Really?
And then maybe some
But-
other ideas. Like if I
I did a lot of reading and worked with a lot of people, spent years.
and even it's very handsome, you know, there is like the one. Sorry, it's really
Like in other countries.
this
So
one is
Well,
very
mostly
much
in America.
surprising. If you like, this basically like you let everything hang,
are you
like legs kind of
Oh
chill.
yeah, and I
Yeah, so I'm
just, like,
studying
did
these days with
the workout, so like my body
teacher in
really
Rinzai.
Yeah.
This is monastery merch.
Yeah.
Made over
Also,
in
I
Wisconsin.
like to be the first one and this
I'm
one
not
is like
lineage authorized by but
it's
so
something
that's part of my
it's from the
training.
energetic
Monastic
like
and then my other primary teacher is just one who he's also kind of play around. And then the rest of my background is mostly
actually I was talking to Elliot and we had from like the Stanford I probably have friends I think like maybe not on all those topics kind of
I was considering doing a retreat
We, yeah, highly recommend. Wonderful teacher.
they're writing. Girl, I think
or I just be like interested to hear like what your advice would be for I mean, because I try to
actually I felt like
try to practice as
point
much as I
myself
can.
like I feel like
3 hours in a day.